live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Anne Waodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Senate discloses plans to hold executive briefing over the December 25 United States airstrikes on terrorist targets in Sokoto State. Governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, reiterates his administration's resolve to tackle the illegality of Monday sit-at-home menace. Kaduna State government evacuates some victims of the recent bandit attack in Wali village for medical treatment at the state teaching hospital. And President Donald Trump warns Iran that time is running out to negotiate a deal on its nuclear program following the steady build-up of U.S. military forces in the Gulf.
On business news, the United Nations warns the global economy may grow slower than pre-COVID-19 levels due to persistent structural challenges.
On sports news tonight, international transfer fees in men's football hit a record $13.08 billion in 2025.
Over the December 25 United States airstrikes on terrorist targets in Sokoto State, following concerns raised by Senator Abdul Ningi on the alleged exclusion of the National Assembly from discussions preceding that operation. While raising the issue under Order 42 during plenary, Senator Ningi, an opposition lawmaker representing Bauchi Central, argued that the airstrikes amounted to an infringement on Nigeria's territorial integrity and should have involved legislative oversight. Our National Assembly correspondent Gloria Umezuki reports.
1432.
On the second day of plenary, the President of the Senate presides over a session that began with some concerns.
Whenever a matter of privileges
Senator Abdul Ningi raised an alarm over the permission granted by the Nigerian executive for the United States airstrikes carried out on December 25, 2025 in Sokoto State in coordination with Nigerian authorities without the approval or involvement of the National Assembly.
Even the President himself cannot and shall not, under this Constitution, ask a foreign power from any part of the country to hit into Nigeria. What the President can do is to ask those military to come into Nigeria and align with their local forces and give them the right to take a hit. Mr. President, if you allow this matter, the executive refused to talk about it, or they say that they were told. The executive must at all times brief the leadership of the National Assembly. As rapacious as Trump is, he always imbibes the leadership of his assembly before and after the act.
You are very right. Your point of order is noted, and I want to assure you that just like you read on the pages of newspapers that the attack, I'm sure you are referring to what happened in Sokoto, happened with the concurrence and the collaboration of the Nigerian security services. We have also been so brief, but we need to brief you in closed session. We need to brief you in closed session. Security is not something that we speak in the market.
The upper chamber also considered the report on the Electoral Act 2022 Repeal and Enactment Bill 2026.
Members should be allowed to go home with this bill. We will also hold a brief closed-door session for us to debate critical clauses of this bill.
The motion is summarily backed by the Senate President.
This is a very important bill, considering the fact that we are about to go into elections. So if we rush it, we regret at the tribunal. So we take our time and then we make sure we do the needful and we ensure that justice is done to all and sundry. And the bill will save the interests of Nigerians and ensure free and transparent elections.
Meanwhile, the Senate President announced that each senator will be issued a certified true copy of the Tax Reform Act as signed by the President to clear any doubts. The Senate President said the gazetted copies were distributed by the clerk and should not be shared with non-members to avoid confusion. From the National Assembly, Gloria Omezuke, Channels Television News.
The civil society organizations have staged a peaceful protest at the entrance of the National Assembly in Abuja, calling on the Senate to urgently pass the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Addressing journalists, the protesters, drawn from various election monitoring groups, say the delay in passing the amendment poses a serious threat to credible elections ahead of the 2027 general election. And according to the group, key provisions in the amendment, especially those relating to electronic transmission of results, internal party democracy, and election transparency, are all critical to strengthening Nigeria's democratic process.
Yeah, we are here today to ask the National Assembly, most especially the upper chamber, which is the Senate, to pass the Electoral Amendment Bill now, because this is very important. In fact, as a matter of fact, is a thing of a national importance now, because we are having election next year, and by the current law, notice of election is supposed to be given 365 days to the election, which is going to be next month. And as of today, we don't even know the law at which the 2027 general election is going to be administered. So we are calling on them that the pending Electoral Amendment Bill in the presence of at the chamber, at the Red Chamber, should be passed now. They have been too relaxed on this bill, and in fact, our suspicion is that these Senates don't even want to pass this bill, and we are calling on them. What are you afraid of? Pass this electoral bill, and let Nigeria have free, fair, and credible election that all of us will be proud of, and that is what we are calling the Akpabio-led Senate to do right now, and that is why we are here. From civil society, everybody, Nigerians are here to call on the National Assembly to pass this Electoral Amendment Bill now.
The Interior Minister Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo has disclosed that the defense agreement signed with the Republic of Turkiye is expected to help the broader protection initiative of President Bola Tinubu. The minister, who is in Ankara and Turkiye, as part of the president's delegation to the state visit in the country. And the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wali Edu, also sheds more light on the benefit of these agreements.
The military agreement means a lot to us, especially with regards to military cooperation, security cooperation, and we hope that that will really catalyze the border protection initiative of this administration. Just as you know, the border stretch is over 4,000 kilometers, 4 different countries, terrestrially, and of course we have some challenges within the border space. So we believe that with the agreement today, a lot will be done in that regard. And also, we also spoke about the issue of visa, ease of visa between our two countries. And I think we're making serious progress.
We must remember that in this day and age of bilateralism, you do and aggregation, we do need new trading partners, new markets, new opportunities, and of course new investments. And that, I think, at the end of the day, is what both presidents and both administrations committed to: more trade and investment between them, and they are both key players in the global south. So as the Western world, as the rich world is focusing on perhaps spending money on arms, spending less on concessional financing, spending less on development, these countries of the global south are coming together.
Activities at the headquarters of the Federal Capital Territory Administration and its affiliate agencies are picking up as workers return to their duty posts following the order of the National Industrial Action. The court had ordered the workers through the FCT Joint Union Action Congress to suspend the industrial action immediately. On January the 19th, 2026, workers commenced industrial action to press home their demands from improved welfare, among other concerns. Our correspondent Kumbiya Boluwade gives a situation report 1 day after that court order.
We're right here at the FCT administration's headquarters in Abuja, and it appears the FCT workers have resumed in earnest. And though they're trickling in bits, but work has in fact resumed in earnest. Days before this, these FCT workers have been on strike due to what they described as inaction on the part of the FCT administration, and also unpaid wages and allowances. Due to this, the FCT administration instituted a case at the National Industrial Court mandating these workers to resume work. And yesterday, the National Industrial Court ruled that these FCTA workers should resume duty. And now what we can see is that these workers have now resumed. Well, we don't know yet if this Joint Union Action Committee will sustain this momentum or retract on this decision. However, there's a high presence of security operatives right here at the FCT administration. Well, we'll bring you more details as this story unfolds. From the FCT administration headquarters, Kumbiya Boluwade, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, it appears the Joint Union Action Committee, JUAC, has now retracted its earlier decision as the union has now directed staff of the Federal Capital Territory Administration to stay at home and continue the industrial action. In a communique signed by the Secretary, JUAC FCT, Mr. Abdullahi Saleh, and made available to Channels Television, the union describes its decision as an ongoing struggle to liberate itself from the vicious cocktail gross administrative impunity and systemic violation of fundamental rights of workers by the FCTA management. The communique also disclosed that the union, through its lead counsel, Femi Falana, senior advocate of Nigeria, has filed an appeal against the decision of the National Industrial Court on interlocutory rule. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress are asking workers of the Federal Capital Territory who are currently at loggerheads with the Minister of the FCT to defend their rights with courage and dignity. A joint statement by the two Labour centres pledged their support for the workers, insisting that they have been badly treated by the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike. According to that statement, the recent ruling by the Industrial Court is enough burden for the workers, and it is not right for the minister to add intimidation, humiliation, insults and harassment to the problem. The statement further declares that the strike continues until the FCT minister negotiates with the workers. In part two, after the break, Kaduna State government evacuates some victims of the recent bandit attack in Kurminwali village for medical treatment at the state's teaching hospital. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Senate discloses plans to hold executive briefing over December 25 United States airstrike on terrorist targets in Soludo State. Governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, reiterates his administration's resolve to tackle the illegality of the Monday sit-at-home menace. Kaduna State government evacuates some victims of the recent bandit attack in Kurminwali village for medical treatment at the state's teaching hospital. And President Donald Trump warns Iran that time is running out to negotiate a deal on its nuclear program following the steady buildup of U.S. military forces in the Gulf. The governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, has reiterated the resolve of his administration to fight the illegality of no work on Mondays with every known legal means in order to save Anambra, secure the future of the children of the state, as well as reassure investors. The governor, who addressed the statewide press briefing at the Lighthouse in Awka, recalls every engagement, negotiation and skilled-based amnesty he came up with upon resumption of office in 2022 to end the sit-at-home order.
The struggle is to save the economy of Anambra, secure our future, save our children, keep our markets open, and reassure our investors who are pouring in now that Anambra is not a 4-day week. It's a 5 or 6 day week. We need to reassure everybody. We are open for business. Anambra is certainly one of the largest economies in Nigeria. You can't count 1 to 5 and you don't count Anambra State. It cannot go swim against the wind. And so, for us, this is a moment of reckoning. A time comes where you must either stand up for truth or be drowned.
According to the governor, the traders are being influenced by non-state actors. He maintains that there will be a revocation of ownership of property by the government if the traders do not obey his orders.
We already have a design, a master plan of the new main market. Okay? We've been restraining because we've been thinking about alternative ways of doing it. If push comes to a shove, I'll give you a notice to come and carry out your things. I want to level the place and rebuild it. If push comes to a shove, I'll give you a notice very quickly. It's my property. It's the government's property. And sooner or later, if this pushes again, we're going to cancel all allocations in that place. We'll cancel them. If you don't show up, we're going to revoke your ownership of that shop, and I'll give it up to Kaduna Chamber as the alternative office. That also is within the law. If you're asking me to show you the law, if I bring them the laws out, don't complain. And the new law is in the making.
11 victims of the recent bandit attack in Kurminwali village in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State are currently undergoing medical treatment at the hospital following the evacuation by the state government. The victims, including women and children, are among those who escaped during the attack on January the 18th, 2026, but sustained injuries.
January 18th, 2026 is a day the people of Kurminwali community in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State will not forget in a hurry, following the invasion by bandits who attacked 3 churches in the community and abducted a large number of worshippers. Those who were fortunate to escape the abduction sustained varying degrees of injury during the incident. Following the incident and the promise made by Governor Uba Sani during his visit to the community, the Kaduna State government has evacuated the injured victims to the hospital for urgent medical attention, including psychological support services, as well as beefing up security in the community.
This afternoon, we received about 11 of them from Kuruminwali, victims of the bandit attacks, and we have received them. Now we have admitted them. Now we've started triaging them, and then now after them we sorted them out. Then we distributed to various specialists according to their clinical conditions. Most of the patients that we received so far, they were in stable condition. So that's why we didn't even admitted them in very critical areas.
In response to the attack, the Kaduna State government has condemned the incident, providing palliatives to the residents of Kuruminwali, while also reaffirming its commitment to protecting lives and property.
We have a total number of 11 victims, which we have among them we have 5 men, 4 women and 3 children, which they've been admitted accordingly to the proper units where they will be properly evaluated and attended medically, in addition to psychosocial support because of the traumatic condition that they've been subjected to.
I want to express my gratitude to our honorable governor. Just because of what he has done to us, we cannot be able to explain. We are now showing him that he's our father. He can do whatever we cannot be able to do. What he did to us, we can never forget. And we are praying for his progress and success. Whatever he decides to find, may God open gate for him.
While efforts are ongoing to rescue the abducted victims, the Kaduna State government is assuring affected families of continued support, while more operatives have been deployed to the affected areas to prevent any further attacks.
The Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center has dismantled a sophisticated cyber-enabled fraud syndicate responsible for the legal diversion of a telecommunications company's airtime and data resources, resulting in an estimated financial loss of over 7.7 billion naira. The statement signed by the Force Public Relations Officer, CSP Benjamin Hundeyi, says the breakthrough followed a petition by the Nigerian Telecommunications Company that reported suspicious and unauthorized activities within its billing and payment infrastructure. The statement also explains that investigation revealed that login credentials belonging to internal staff had been compromised, granting the cyber criminals unlawful access to core operational systems. According to the police, the suspects have been arrested and several items recovered. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to enhancing housing welfare for police personnel across Nigeria. The IGP disclosed this when he received the Managing Director of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Shehu Osidi, and his management team on a courtesy visit to the force's headquarters in Abuja. Mr. Egbetokun, while welcoming the FMBN delegation, says the visit was both timely and significant in advancing the partnership between both institutions.
The Nigerian Police Force recognizes the critical role being played by the Federal Mortgage Bank, especially in the area of promoting affordable housing, financial inclusion, and social stability for Nigerians, including public servants. We appreciate what you are doing. I want to assure you of our commitment to supporting all initiatives that will improve the welfare of our officers. Welfare and security are closely linked, and we in Nigerian Police, we believe that institutional partnership like the one the Nigerian Police is having with the Federal Mortgage Bank is very crucial, and it contributes significantly to national development. And I want to assure you that we are committed to deepening this partnership with you. We intend to take advantage of this robust partnership with you to impact positively on the welfare of our officers.
Ten continues now as we head over to Abuja studios, where Millicent Walker is standing by. Over to you, Millicent.
Many thanks, Anne. And we begin at the Green Chambers. The House of Representatives, who will on Thursday, January the 29th, 2026, commence the debate on the 2026 Appropriation Bill, a critical legislative exercise that sets the economic and fiscal plan of the federal government for the year. This was announced at today's plenary, with lawmakers emphasizing the importance of the budget in driving national growth, funding key sectors, and addressing the immediate socio-economic needs of Nigerians. Our correspondent Benny Ark reports.
It's the second day of plenary in the Green Chamber for the year 2026, with noticeably more lawmakers present on the floor compared to the previous session. Presiding, the Speaker of the House, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, read a letter from President Bola Tinubu transmitting 24 health sector bills to the House for legislative consideration.
The major amendment proposed in
The bills aimed at strengthening governance, streamlining boards, and improving service delivery across health institutions and regulatory agencies follow a comprehensive review of health sector laws.
The next transmission, or the next correspondence, was received on January 24th, 2026, again addressed to the Speaker from the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And this is transmission of 24 health sector bills for the consideration of the House. And the content of the message reads as follows. Pursuant to Section 58, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, I forward herewith 24 health sector bills for the consideration of the House of Representatives. The Honorable Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, in coordination with the Honorable Minister of Health and Social Welfare, following the directive of the Federal Executive Council, engage in a review of the enabling laws of the health sector institutions for the purpose of streamlining the overbloated membership structure of their governing boards to ensure efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery.
After the reading of the President's communication, the Speaker stepped aside, with the Deputy Speaker taking over the presiding of the day's proceedings.
Outstanding bills that are before the Senate.
While the plenary is adjourned, the Deputy Speaker provides an update on the 2026 Appropriation Bill.
There will be debate on this budget by tomorrow. So I expect us to prepare and handle it.
The announcement sets the stage for intensive legislative scrutiny of government spending plans for the year. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has urged citizens to embrace tolerance and peaceful coexistence, describing unity as the foundation for national development. He made the call in Jos, the Plateau state capital, during a courtesy visit to the Gbomgbom Jos, where issues of peace, security and political harmony took center stage. Our correspondent Percy Dabank has more.
Vice President Kashim Shettima paid homage to Gbomgbom Jos, the chairman of the Plateau State Council of Chiefs and Emirs, as part of activities during his visit to the state.
I want to commend and thank the leadership, the political leadership in Plateau State.
Addressing the royal father and members of the traditional council, the vice president said Nigerians share a common heritage and must continue to live together in peace, noting that development cannot thrive in an atmosphere of division.
There can never be development without peace. There can never be peace without development. The interests of Plateau surpasses all our individual interests. We are essentially one people tied to our heritage of underdevelopment, insecurity, and challenges. And I am here to unite the people.
The vice president commended traditional rulers for their role in sustaining peace and social stability.
With engaging stakeholders of the Plateau.
In his remarks, Governor Kellogg Mutfwang of Plateau State applauded the cordial working relationship between President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima, saying it continues to yield benefit for the country.
I want you to know that we are quite delighted to have you and also to know that you are here with the good wishes of Mr. President, in whom we are well pleased, and we are pleased with your working relationship with Mr. President, and we want to trust God that that relationship will continue to abound.
In his response, the Bongom Jos called for enhanced security and genuine reconciliation across the country, urging Nigerians to respect one another and live peacefully.
That God in his infinite mercy will use situations like this, what is happening on the plateau now, to truly bring us together, that we may be realigned to one another and work in the interests of one another.
The royal father thanked the vice president and other political leaders for the recent political realignment, describing it as a welcome development for Plateau State and the nation. Percy Dabang, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, United Nations warns that global economy may grow slower than pre-COVID-19 levels due to persistent structural challenges. That's coming up in Business News. To join us today. You're watching the news at 10, come to you live from our Abuja studios. We continue with some company news. Love Bite Foods and Beverages Limited, a leading Nigerian bakery with its headquarters in Nnubi in Demili South local government area of Anambra State, has disbursed 170 million naira to its customers as part of its customer appreciation gesture. The disbursement takes place during the annual Thanksgiving and customer appreciation ceremony of the company. The Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Innocent, wants to appreciate God for an all-year-round protection and extends love to his customers, noting that the initiative aimed at strengthening his relationships with them towards the promotion, continued growth and success of the company.
St. Paul's Catholic Church, Nobi, Idemili South local government area of Anambra State, is the first venue of the annual Thanksgiving and Customer Appreciation Ceremony of one of the leading bakeries in Nigeria, Love Bite Foods and Beverages Limited. The Chief Executive Officer of the company, Mr. Innocent Nwosu, a seasoned businessman with over 2 decades of experience in food distribution and food processing machine supply, leads his family, staff and friends to an annual Thanksgiving in recognition of God's favor upon him and his endeavors all through the previous year. It's on the essence of appreciation that the homily centers. From the Thanksgiving, the customer appreciation ceremony begins at the premises of Love Bite Foods and Beverages Limited headquarters in Nnobi. The appreciation is massive for various categories of customers, including the distributors, mega depots, and key partners, totaling 170 million naira.
As a policy of Love Bite, we'll make sure we give them rebates for all the sales they make during the year so that we can encourage them the more.
The CEO hands out the checks to the outstanding customers.
It has become a tradition here that every year the company will call us together and appreciate us for our efforts. So we are happy as usual.
By this time next year, by His grace again, because it's only by the grace of God it will be done.
In terms of business, Love Bite business, bread business and other things, the best. The bread is very sweet, very delicious, and I'm praying God that the company continues to grow more and more.
The company's customer initiative is with the aim of strengthening relationships while maintaining discipline and standards.
We have a monitoring team that makes sure that whatever we decide as our distribution terms and conditions is being met by the people who are distributing for us. So we try as much as possible to enforce that standard to make sure that the consumers get the best product at the end of the day.
Love Bite Foods and Beverages Limited has a strong focus on customer satisfaction, teamwork, and self-discipline, with a vision to change the way bread is produced and delivered in Nigeria.
Anambra to Lagos. Fatbems Group, a Nigerian energy and mobility services company in the downstream oil and gas sector, has commissioned its newly upgraded mega station along the OPIC outbound stretch of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Speaking at the unveiling, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the group, Kabir Gbemisola, says the upgraded facility reflects the company's core values of integrity, innovation, safety, and environmental responsibility.
The newly upgraded Fatbems mega station now stands as a modern fuel retail outlet, marking a sharp departure from its former state. The upgrade features reconstructed and well-paved access roads, modern fuel dispensing units, improved lighting, and dedicated parking spaces, among others. The Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Noimot Salako Yedele, leads other dignitaries and top executives of the Fatbems Group to officially commission the facility. With these additions, the Fatbems OPIC station has been transformed into a multi-service mobility and retail hub designed to meet safety, environmental, and customer comfort standards.
At Fatbems, we believe that growth must always be matched with qualities, safety, and reliability. The outlet is equipped with modern facilities, skilled personnel, and efficient system to ensure that every customer who walks in receives not just a service, but a expensive, defined, but trust and excellence.
Your core values are very important to you, and everything you must do everything possible to keep it up. Once again, I congratulate you, and I pray that you will achieve greater success than you had ever hoped for as you open more mega stations all over the country.
As Ogun State continues to grow along strategic corridors such as the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the government describes developments like these as vital to its industrialization drive and economic expansion.
Projects such as this demonstrate how the private sector continues to play a vital role in the national and subnational development. We're encouraged when indigenous companies like Fatbems expand boldly and responsibly, as they have done here in OPIC. May this mega station serve the community well and stand as a model of excellence in the downstream oil and gas sector.
The commissioning of the Fatbems petroleum retail outlet at OPIC marks a significant turnaround for a location once defined by neglect, now repositioned as a functional and welcoming service point for motorists and residents.
And that's it from the nation's capital. Back to Lagos for more on the news at 10.
Thank you, Millicent. And as the world marks the Global Privacy Day 2026, Nigeria is under increasing pressure to strengthen the protection of personal data in the rapidly expanding digital economy. From financial services to telecommunication and government platforms, concerns over data breaches, weak compliance, and low public awareness have raised questions about the safety of data of Nigerians and their privacy. In Abuja, the Nigeria Data Protection Commission held a press conference to address these concerns and outline the way forward. Our correspondent, Sunes Nathaniel, reports.
As digital services become deeply embedded in everyday life, the protection of personal data has emerged as a critical national issue. And all stakeholders. Global Privacy Day 2026 comes at a time when Nigeria is grappling with rising cases of data misuse, from unsolicited marketing to major data breaches involving both private and public institutions.
Data protection a bit further.
The NDPC Commissioner emphasized that data privacy is a fundamental right, not a privilege, stressing the Commission's commitment to strengthening enforcement, improving compliance, and building public trust in the digital space.
In addition to that, we're going to have a webinar, and there's going to be a roadshow tomorrow, moving from the Federal Secretariat to the Unity Fountain. to talk to people about data privacy and protection. There will be some TV appearances also to educate Nigerians about the need for data privacy and protection.
Despite regulatory frameworks, awareness remains a major challenge. Many Nigerians are still unaware of their rights to consent, data access, and redress, a gap that continues to undermine accountability.
For his opening remarks and as he reels out statistics, welcome, Honorable Minister.
Speaking on the broader implications, the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Mr. Bosun Tijani, linked data privacy to trust in the digital economy, noting that without strong data protection, Nigeria's ambitions for digital transformation and innovation could be severely undermined.
Let me say clearly, the success of Nigeria's digital economy will rest not only on infrastructure and talent, but also on trust. And I want everyone to believe this. So NDPC, the work you do is not just something that is in silo. Our sector will not be successful if you're not successful.
As Nigeria marks Global Privacy Day 2026, the message from regulators and policymakers is clear. Data protection must move from policy to practice. For a digital economy built on trust, safeguarding personal data is no longer optional. It is essential. Sunest Nathaniel, Channels Television News.
Let's delve into the world of business. Dominic Iwewu is standing by.
Thank you, Anne. And on business news, the United Nations says the world economy could continue growing at a slower pace than before the COVID-19 pandemic, warning that deep-seated structural challenges may keep global growth subdued for years to come. In its latest report, the UN notes that while the global economy has shown resilience amid recent shocks, such as trade tensions and shifting policy landscapes, overall output remains well below pre-pandemic rates. UN officials add that several factors contributing to the slower trajectory include weak investment, high debt burdens, limited policy space, and uneven access to technology. These pressures, especially in developing economies, risk anchoring growth at rates lower than historical norms if decisive policy action is not taken. Now, Nigeria's naira has firmed to about 1,400 naira per US dollar at the official forex exchange markets, gaining strength as the US dollar weakens globally, providing relief for emerging market currencies. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria indicate that the appreciation is supported by improved liquidity in the Nigerian foreign exchange market and shifts in global monetary expectations that have softened demand for the dollar. Meanwhile, the gap between official and parallel market rates has narrowed, reflecting growing market confidence and a more stable outlook for the local currency. In a major move to solidify Africa's energy sovereignty, the African Export Bank, AfriExim, has secured a landmark $1.75 billion financing package for Angola's state-owned oil company, Sonangol, strengthening the firm's liquidity and supporting its ongoing operational and investment needs. The facility, arranged by the AfriExim Bank in partnership with a group of international lenders, is one of the largest financings raised by Sonangol in recent years. It underscores sustained investor confidence in Angola's energy sector despite volatile global oil prices and tighter financial conditions. According to AfriExim Bank, the funding will help Sonangol optimize its balance sheet, refinance existing obligations, and support strategic projects across the oil and gas value chain. The transaction also aligns with Angola's broader efforts to stabilize public finances and attract foreign capital into the energy industry. The domestic equities market ended lower as profit-taking in MTN Nigeria shares weighed on investment sentiment. Willie Bong tells us more.
Welcome to to the stock market reports, the market was not able to keep up. Investors appear to be responding to early earnings filers on the NGX as the index went from a positive intraday performance to close about 0.33% in negative territory, and market cap back to 105 trillion naira. Now, telco giant MTN Nigeria played a major role pulling back the market with an 8 naira shave off its share price to close at 572 naira. More losers in the market today. We see banking still down from yesterday, down to about 0.4%. Other sectors probably feeling left out, joined in on the negative drive. Consumer goods is down today. Saw dips in Honeywell flour, and also gains in Eterna was not strong enough to prop up the oil and gas counter. Well, a bit of a bump on the road for the NGX is a rebound in its future, and that's talking about tomorrow. We'll keep our eyes peeled for that, and those are the highlights. Will Ibang signing out.
Thank you, Will. Let's see the snapshot performance for other major equities. And that's it on business news. Back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Dominic. And for stories outside our shores, let's join Simon Puse for more international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Donald Trump has warned Iran that time is running out to negotiate a deal on its nuclear program following the steady buildup of U.S. military forces in the Gulf. The U.S. president said a massive armada was moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm and purpose towards Iran, referring to a large U.S. naval force. In response, Iran's mission to the UN said Tehran stands ready for dialogue based on mutual respect and interests. Mr. Trump had previously said he would rescue protesters involved in the brutal and unprecedented crackdown on demonstrations in Iran earlier this month. The US-based human rights activists news agency said it has confirmed the killing of more than 6,000 people, including 5,858 prisoners, since the unrest began at the end of December.
Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has been attacked at an event she was hosting when an audience member used a syringe to spray liquid at her. Omar was uninjured and continued to speak. A Democrat who became in 2019 the first Somali American to serve in the U.S. Congress is a fierce critic of U.S. President Donald Trump. Authorities have not yet identified what the liquid was. Anthony James Kazimierz has been charged with third-degree assault and is being held in custody. India's Prime Minister has led tributes to Ajit Pawar, Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra State, who has been killed in a plane crash in the west of the country. Pawar and 4 others died after the chartered plane they were travelling in crashed at the airport in Baramati, Pawar's constituency, on Wednesday morning. India's Civil Aviation Minister said visibility was poor at the airport at the time of the crash. The aviation regulator has launched an investigation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi called Pawar's death shocking and saddening and praised his service to the people of Maharashtra. His funeral will be held on Thursday morning. The wife of South Korea's ousted former president has been sentenced to 20 months in jail for accepting bribes from the controversial Unification Church. However, the court cleared 52-year-old Kim Keon-hee on charges of stock price manipulation and receiving free opinion polls from a political broker before the 2022 presidential election, which her husband Yoon Suk-yeol won. Yoon has already been sentenced to 5 years in jail for abusing power and obstructing justice in relation to his failed martial law bid in 2024. This marks the first time in South Korea's history that a former presidential couple are convicted at the same time. Keir Starmer has arrived in China for a 3-day visit, the first time a UK Prime Minister has visited the country since 2018. Starmer, who is travelling with around 60 British business and cultural leaders, will meet President Xi Jinping and develop trade ties. After arriving in Beijing, the Prime Minister told the delegation, "We are resolute about being outward-looking and always being absolutely focused on our national interest." Speaking on the flight to Beijing, Starmer said the trip would bring benefits for people back at home. And on human rights issues, he said, "I've always raised issues that need to be raised." US technology giant Amazon has confirmed it will cut 16,000 jobs hours after it told staff about a new round of global redundancies in an email apparently sent in error. The email refers to a swathe of employees in the US, Canada and Costa Rica having been laid off as part of an effort to strengthen the company. The message was apparently shared by mistake as it was quickly cancelled. Amazon has not said where the latest job losses will fall or which countries will be affected. And the Smithsonian National Zoo's giant pandas, Baoli and Qingbao, have spent time outside in the snow while the massive winter storm hits the DC region. The zoo explained why the pair are kept in separate enclosures, saying giant pandas tend to prefer their own space and usually only share habitat when they're ready to reproduce. The storm hit wide swathes of the United States and caused chaos from Texas to the tip of Maine, knocking out power and burying major cities under a thick blanket of snow. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Many thanks indeed, Simon, and welcome to Sports News. 4 games were decided earlier today on March Day 23 of the Nigeria Premier Football League. Ahmed Musa's 72nd minute goal was all Kano Pillars needed to claim 3 points against Katsina United. In Jos, Plateau United edged Enugu Rangers to 1. Wiki Tories held Abia Warriors to a 1-1 draw in Aba, while Eyimba also shared a point at Nasarawa with same scoreline. The Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco has broken new grounds with a record 6 billion digital views across social media platforms during the competition. In a statement released by CAF, Morocco 2025 is now the most viewed football continental competition, generating an extraordinary 5.2 billion video views. The milestone positions the continent's flagship football events at the very top of global digital engagement, surpassing every comparable continental tournament in history with a total of 285 million fans engagement recorded. FIFA has confirmed that the international transfer fees in men's football hit a record $13.08 billion in 2025. In its annual global transfer markets reports, an all-time record of 86,158 international transfers was completed in 2025. Women's football accounted for 2,440 transfers and a total spending of $28.6 million, a year-on-year increase of more than 80%. The joint transfer total from men and women's football, professional and amateur, of $13.11 billion represents more than 50% above the spending in 2024. Let's take you to the Australian Open, where reigning champion Jannik Sinner called Novak Djokovic an inspiration after setting.
Thank you, Kelly. And the main news again. The Senate has disclosed plans to hold executive briefing over the December 25 United States airstrike on terrorist targets in Sokoto State. Governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, has reiterated his administration's resolve to tackle the illegality of the Monday sit-at-home menace. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawado. Good night, and please stay safe.